it's Dr. Diane from my Lyme doc talking about something that comes up from time to time, kind of frequently in my patients, which is, can autoimmune disease reverse? What causes it? Is my Lyme disease? Is my joint pain? Is my fibro? Is all this stuff just autoimmune disease? So here's the thing. Conventionally speaking, we are classically taught that autoimmune disease does not reverse. So many times people are told that they have markers in their blood that are autoimmune markers, which is when your body and your immune system starts attacking yourself instead of something bad. When that happens, there's markers that show up. And when they're positive, we're basically told that, hey, this is the reason for things such as joint pain. And there is nothing that can be done other than given things like prednisone or methotrexate or sometimes hydroxychloroquine, these types of drugs. And you're told that nothing ever will change and you have to be on these drugs for the rest of your life. Well, that is true if. That is true if the buck stops there, right? Because there's reasons for autoimmune disease. And the problem is that what we're doing in medicine so oftentimes is we're getting that diagnosis, right? We're saying, okay, it's rheumatoid or it's Sjogren's syndrome or it's lupus, right? And we're Hashimoto's, any of these types of diseases. And we're getting this diagnosis, and then you get this medication designed to manage symptoms. So many times you're given immunosuppressants to prevent your immune system from overacting. The problem with that is that it's not fixing the underlying root cause of why you have autoimmune disease to begin with. Autoimmune disease is usually a triad. You have that genetic predisposition. You have something that triggers that gene to turn on and express. And then finally, there's oftentimes leaky gut. So in fixing autoimmune disease, we actually have to figure, we can't change your genes, but we have to figure out what is that trigger that is driving this, right? And we have to figure out what the intestinal permeability leaky gut is. So for many people, at least in my practice, I find that Lyme and mold are triggers for autoimmune disease. And that you can see things such as your thyroid markers or things like anti-CCP3, which is a common rheumatoid marker. You can see your lupus markers, your ANAs, things like this, elevate. And then when we fix the root and you retest, the markers are gone, right? Everything's normal. So can it be reversed? Well, you're always going to have that genetic predisposition. We can't control that. But if symptoms are gone and lab results are normal, then for me, how I look at this situation is that's pretty much reversed in my book, right? Because you're living pain-free, you're living your best life, your labs look great, you feel great. So to me, that pretty much is reversal of disease. But if we just give the things to calm down the immune system, but we're not fixing that root, we're not fixing the root of what's driving the immune system to overact, you're going to need to be on immunosuppressants or whatever, drugs such as your thyroid support drugs for the rest of your life because nobody's going in and actually fixing the root. The diagnosis is not the end. Many times we think the diagnosis is the end in medicine. The diagnosis in many ways is just the beginning. It's saying, oh, now we understand kind of the process of why some of these things are happening, but now we have to go a deeper layer and say, what is the cause of that process? And that's why we want to go beyond just those autoimmune markers. So I hope this is helpful. I hope this gives you tons of hope. Please, please, please share this with anybody that you think could use this information. Autoimmune disease is so common and so many people are told these horrible stories and really do believe that there's no hope. You can learn about how we work at my practice and so much more in the show notes below. You can find me just by going to mylymedoc.com. Another great resource for you is if you go to Get Well Quiz, so getwellquiz.com. That's a great quiz that I developed to help ask you a ton of questions, and it will spit out, once you take these questions, it'll spit out and I'll send you information on the top 3 most likely missing root causes for your disease, as well as tests you should ask your doctor about. So it's a great way to start kind of just turning and getting some information around like, okay, have I checked this and I have checked this and I've checked this for the root cause. So totally free. It's at getwellquiz.com. And I hope that helps. All right, everyone, be well. I'll see you very soon.